Alright, let's dive into something that's got the F1 world buzzing: the FIA's ambitious plan to shave another 80 kilograms off F1 cars by 2031. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me hit you with this. Why does this even matter? Personally, I think this isn't just about making cars lighter, it's about redefining what Formula One stands for. The sport has always been about pushing boundaries, but lately it feels like we've been stuck in a cycle of heavier, more complex machines. This move? It's a bold statement, a return to the roots of racing, where agility and driver skill take center stage. Now, let's talk about the nimble car concept. When the 2026 regulations were announced, the FIA promised smaller, lighter cars. And yes, we've seen some changes: 20 centimeters shorter wheelbase, 10 centimeters narrower bodies, and a 32 kilograms weight reduction. But here's the thing: these changes feel incremental, not revolutionary. What makes this really interesting is that the FIA is now doubling down, aiming for an additional 80 kilograms reduction by 2031. That's not just a tweak, that's a transformation. One thing that immediately stands out is Nikolas' Tombazis' perspective. As the FIA's single-seater director, he's optimistic about the progress so far, but he's not satisfied. He believes the cars are more robust, with less dirty air interference, and that teams are less likely to exploit loopholes. But here's where it gets fascinating: he admits the job isn't done. In my opinion, this honesty is refreshing. It's rare to see a governing body openly acknowledge that there's still work to do. What many people don't realize is that the current cars, despite being lighter, are still a handful to drive. Tombazis emphasizes that these aren't cars your grandma could handle, and that's a good thing. From my perspective, this is where F1 should be. The best drivers in the world should be challenged, not just by their rivals, but by the machines they're piloting. It's a reminder that racing isn't just about technology, it's about human skill. But let's take a step back and think about it. Why the obsession with weight? Well, lighter cars mean better racing. Less weight equals more agility, closer battles, and fewer barriers to overtaking. This raises a deeper question: are we prioritizing spectacle over engineering? Personally, I think it's a balance. F1 has always been a showcase of innovation, but if that innovation comes at the cost of exciting racing, something's wrong. A detail I find fascinating is the focus on ride height. By raising the cars slightly, the FIA has made them less physically demanding on drivers. This might seem like a small change, but it's significant. It's a nod to driver welfare without compromising the racing experience. What this really suggests is that the FIA is listening, not just to teams, but to the drivers themselves. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The 2031 target isn't just about lighter cars, it's about simpler power units too. This is where things get really intriguing. If you take a step back and think about it, F1 has been on a trajectory of increasing complexity. Hybrid engines, energy recovery systems, it's all cutting edge, but it's also alienating for some fans. Simplifying the power units could bring the focus back to pure racing, and I'm here for it. But here's the kicker: can the FIA actually pull this off? History tells us that teams will always find ways to push the limits of regulations. Tombazis is confident they've learned from past mistakes, but in my opinion, the devil's in the details. Will the 2031 rules hold up, or will we see another round of loopholes and exploits? That's the million-dollar question. Closing thought: the FIA's vision for lighter, simpler F1 cars is ambitious, and frankly, it's exactly what the sport needs. But it's not just about the cars, it's about the philosophy. Are we moving toward a future where F1 is more about the driver and less about the machine? Personally, I think that's the right direction. But what do you think? Is this the future F1 deserves, or are we losing something in the pursuit of lightness? Let me know in the comments. I'm all ears.